Make your invoices match your company's brand. Every invoice you send is rendered with a layout, and they're in billing under invoice layouts. Each invoice is one layout, its name, type, default status, and actions menu. You could start from a blank page, but cloning a polished layout is faster. Standard layouts ship with Alga, but you can't edit those. Custom layouts are yours to edit. In this scenario, we'll clone the richest one, the detailed layout. On a standard row, that's edit as copy. It clones the layout and opens the saved copy in the designer, so the original stays untouched. First, name the copy something memorable. Northwind Managed IT Invoice. There are two ways to work here. Visual is the design surface that you'll spend your time in. Code shows the nuts and bolts if you want to drill into the details. Inside the visual, there are three modes: design to build the layout, transforms to reshape the data behind it, and preview to test your actual or sample invoices. On the left, the palette holds your building blocks. Blocks are raw visible elements: text, tables, totals, dividers, containers. Presets are elements arranged in groups, like a header with a logo. The fields are the data: invoice number, dates, totals, client details. And outline gives you a structured view. Every node on the page is nested. Expand a section and you can see exactly how the document fits together. The center is the canvas, shown exactly as it prints. The inspector on the right edits whatever you select. So you select the style and repeat, then back to blocks to further customize the layout. The header already has a logo slot besides your name and address, so click to select it. The logo comes from your documents library. Browse to documents, pick an image, confirm, and you drop it into the header. From here on, your logo anchors to the top of these style of invoices. Notice the name and address aren't typed, they're tokens filled in automatically from your company settings. So you select any node, say the logo, and the inspector will reveal how to style it. Appearance gives you a background fill, a border, and a text color, so you can fine tune any piece. The detailed layout already draws a rule beneath the header, so select that too, and we'll set its color to the same accent as your brand because the small details matter. So take a single field, the invoice number. It's a data field bound to a data path that can point to any value: totals, dates, client details. The field also carries a format: text, number, currency, or date, so it always shows correctly, plus full typography on its label, weight, size, color, and alignment. If you need a value somewhere it isn't, the field tabs list every token, so you can click one and drop a live value straight into any text box. The line items table is the heart of the invoice. Select it to open the table editor. Source binding decides what feeds it. By default, it's fed by the invoice's own line items. So you can rename the columns to match your company's vocabulary. Maybe descriptions become service. And each column carries a type. So it can be text, number, currency, and date. And that will format to make sure that the values show correctly. And there are quick presets like amount or rate when you need them. So make the table stand out with a border preset. We'll put borders around every row, then brand the header so its background again matches your accent color. We'll make white text to make it visible on the invoice and apply it. And now the table matches your brand colors. Below the table, the totals block arranges subtotal, tax, and amount due, and they're all calculated. Give it a soft background tint of its own so the number stands out better. When you do need more structure, you'll want to look at blocks. A section groups related content as a named item. Add one and it drops onto the canvas. A container arranges children in flexible rows or grids. We're just demonstrating two of those here, so each will undo right now. Section and containers are for layouts that need more scaffolding than this one. We'll keep the divider here. Let's add a rule right below the totals. And one more small touch, a small text block for payment terms right near the bottom. Net 30, due on receipt, and so on. The outline is how you'll find it once it's added. Since the new block isn't auto-selected on the canvas, a spacer can add breathing room, but I like our layout as it is. Okay, now click away to deselect and you're back to the page setup. Choose a paper size like letter or A4 and set the margins to your preferences. Um, Now we're back in the designer and the branding is exactly as we built it. Transforms reshape your data, filter, group, and summarize line items in 3 steps. And this time, instead of testing against a sample, let's point it at something real. Switch the data source to existing and pick Greenleaf's actual draft. And that points us at the invoice's real line items. So step 1 is the filter. Keep rows with a total greater than 0, so empty or credit rows never clutter the invoice. Step 2, bucket the rows by description. Every line item that shares the same description collapses into one row. And then summarize, add an aggregate that sums each group's total, so every group gets its own subtotal. Give the result a name, items.grouped, so a layout can use it. On the right, the output preview shows it's working. The 2 groups we created are here, managed workstation support and on-site remediation. Now they have their own subtotals. So let's assign that to the table. Let's go back to the design, select the line items table again, and rebind its source to items.grouped. And now that table will show our new structure, not the raw list that it had before. A grouped row has no single quantity or rate, so we'll drop those 2 columns, point the first remaining column at the group's name, and it's already labeled as service from before, and that's still what we want. And lastly, at the subtotal you just named, rename its header to subtotal. The row now shows how we want them to, group by service, each with its own subtotal, and this table is your invoice, and that's actually how it will print. So preview renders the layout against a real invoice. Switch the preview to existing so that we can show an actual invoice and look in 2 places to confirm it. The shape will show you the structure, and then render will show you how your customers will see it. And that's it, your logo, your accent header, your group totals, and it's just the way we designed it. So now save the layout and it's back in the list and it's now a template that you can use. Open its actions to decide where it applies. Set as default would make it the default for every new invoice, but we'll target one client instead here. So let's open Greenleaf Dental Group's billing tab. It has its own template picker. Let's assign our layout there and save the billing configuration so the assignment sticks. When the layouts overlap, the most specific one wins. Now let's view it on the same invoice. Open Greenleaf's actual draft. Here it is in the plain standard layout where it's functional but generic. You can preview it instantly in a different layout right here on the draft without touching what's saved. So let's switch to our branded layout. It's the same client, the same 1650 total, but now it has our grouping applied. 1125 for our managed workstation support, 525 for on-site remediation, and your logo and your color are on display. So download that exact branded invoice as a PDF and it's ready to send to your client. That's a full run through of how you can brand invoices in AlgaPSA from start to finish.